I wanted to make an update video on the progress that I made on adjusting my PVC loom after changing the tensioning system. If you didn't watch the previous video, you can go back and watch that to see what I did to change or to modify my loom. You can see it's been painted since the last time that I made the video. I wasn't real happy with this paint. It's a Krylon brand and it's made for plastic. It's supposed to have the primer in it, but in the past I've used Krylon Fusion paint with PVC and was very successful with it. I couldn't find the paint, so I bought this one thinking it would be just as good, and it seems to chip off really easily, so keep that in mind if you plan on painting your loom. On the previous video I mentioned that I probably needed to raise the height of my reed holder, and I did redo these two posts on either side. They were a little short. I looked at some of my other looms, which I'll show in a minute, to show how I came up with, deciding how tall to make this. I think I ended up cutting these 8.5 inches long, but when the reed is in the upright position, the warp goes through level with the front beam and the back beam. So that's pretty much what I was looking for. When I didn't raise this up, my shed wasn't as open as I needed it to be. This is the Ashford table loom, but their reed is on a swinging type pendulum. That's what I call it. And so the warp goes through about the middle of the reed, but I think that it works more for this one because the harnesses are a lot wider. I'm not sure why they have the warp going through at that level, but I do find that when I use a boat shuttle with this loom that the shuttle falls through the warp pretty often because there's really nothing to support it when you're shooting it through there. I haven't had that problem with the PVC loom. It seems like there's plenty of support with the warp going through at the lowest level of the reed. On my shacked floor loom, if I have the reed pretty much in the straight up and down position, the warp goes through flat through the lowest part of the reed. So I felt like that was the best for the PVC loom also. Now this loom has a shuttle race, so you don't have problems with your shuttle falling through. But when I was tuning up the PVC loom, I took a lot of these things into consideration. Okay, back to the PVC loom. In addition to changing the height of the reed holder support, I also tuned up the harnesses, the height of them, and I put some fresh cord in there. I had to take all the wooden parts off so that I could assemble the loom and paint it outside. So it was a good time for me to start tuning everything up. So because I messed with the height of everything, I decided to go back to the book and find out where the heddles, the height of the heddles should be in relationship to the warp. So follow the specifications in there to get your loom tuned up and where you're getting the maximum shed that you can get. I've got this one pretty satisfactory at this time, and I am very much enjoying the pawl and ratchet system with this wooden beam, and it's working very well. So in the past video I had mentioned that I would test the whole thing out and see how everything's doing, so I decided to go ahead and update and let everybody know some additional tune-ups that you're going to need if you start modifying your loom. On a side note, I just wanted to show the stand that I made for my Ashford table loom. The stand that they make for this loom is almost the same price as the loom itself, and also it's made for converting it to a treadle, a 4-shaft treadle, and my loom has 8 shafts. And so I just started cutting pipe and making my own stand, which was more economical. and I didn't really do good measurements from the beginning, so you can see it wasn't long enough, so I had to add a T on the back to accommodate my loom. And I also added 2 cross pieces instead of one straight down the middle, because I'm going to get in closer so you can see the harnesses. These are the harnesses hanging down. On the Ashford loom, the harnesses drop out through the bottom when you need to make any adjustments or changes. And if you put a cross piece or a support piece straight through the middle, it interfered with those. So I ended up putting 2 on the floor and at the top. And it still kind of is in the way right here. I didn't do good planning on this, but it works. I've been able to take these harnesses out with no problem. So if you plan on building a stand for your loom, pay attention to how your harnesses operate in your particular loom. And the other note that I wanted to make is that I did add some weight. You see this canvas bag on the back. I have some aquarium gravel in there because I guess I was beating too hard on the front and the back of the loom would come up a little bit. So adding all these extra support pieces also adds weight to the stand too. So right now the stand is working well for me, and so PVC is always a quick and easy way to construct things that you need. The way this is attached to the PVC is just with a screw going straight up to this, and what I did was remove the feet. They had little rubber feet that were screwed into the bottom of the loom, so it already had a recessed area that was perfect for me to measure out and run, push a screw or drill a hole up through there and match the screw up with the hole that's already in the loom itself. So it's very secure on there. It's not going to fall off of the loom. So those are some things that you're going to have to think about, is how are you going to mount your loom to the PVC, but that's the way I did it.